So this is another Harley specialty tool. I got several of them actually. This one I don't think I ever had, and this is for taking off the intake manifold. I'm going to be doing a top end on a bike. Hopefully I don't have to do the bottom end. Getting a 1250 kit. So I got some other stuff coming. I don't need these tools right now, but I got the bore gauge. See how wide the bore is. Also, this is Starlet, the cat. She just eats nothing. That's a whole bowl of treats. Freaking Temptations treats. She's a spoiled little kid, man. I'll tell you that. But the so I got the micrometers. I got a bunch of stuff, even without all this stuff I'm adding to it. And I got ring compressors. I got two kinds, but I got like a better kind that's a take apart. I have a take apart ring compressor, but it's for one size. And this one has like all sizes, and I got the one that was more money, a few times more money, because it's thicker and it don't break, you know. So just add on to this what other doodads I got. I know this stuff's made in China, and I can't really trust it 100%, but it's better than nothing. At least with the bore gauge, I can tell like if there's bore, there's taper in the bore, because I might be able to reuse the cylinders I'm pulling out for going 30 over. You can go to 30 over, and I do have one extra cylinder, and I don't know what it's bored out to, but I think it's pretty close to standard. So anyway, and I got a press too. So what I could do worse to work, and this would be a lot of labor. I don't want to do this. I hope I don't need to do this, but I could press out the flywheel assembly from the case, and bring the flywheel assembly over to somebody that would redo the crank pin. I don't think I need to do all that junk, because that crank pin is an S&S. There's S&S rods in there. It's got, well, who knows? All the gobbledygook descriptions don't mean nothing until I go to check it. So anyway, right after this, you're gonna see what are junk stuff I got, and I figure right now it's a good. These years ago, this stuff used to be big bucks, almost impossible to get. Now it's stuff's being made in China. Maybe not as good quality, but good enough for me, right? I'm not a pro, and I'm stashing it because I think the trade and the exchange imbalance is going to be coming up here more and more, and this really cheap stuff made in China ain't going to be so cheap, and so I'm stashing it, man. I got a lot of stuff. An old girl here, spoiled, female cat. You gotta have a bowl of pure treats. There you go. Well, the other thing I got here is this micrometer set. Goes from basically 0 to 4 inches. So do a lot of pistons and things like that. So when you put the bore gauge down the side of the cylinders, you can see you'll get a reading. Then you got to compare it to one of these. Now I just set this one, zeroed it in, so it's at the 2 inches, and there's a little wrench here you might have to turn to get it set where you got your 2-inch reference for that. And this one doesn't require one of these because it goes down to 0. So for like the pistons, it'll be like a 3.5 inches on a bike. Most car pistons will fall in this range for these, for this one. But in my situation, I'll probably show a video right after this. I'm gonna have to get the top end done on the Sportster, and it's gonna need new cylinder walls and everything else. But this comes in handy. I figure I'm gonna get this now while this stuff is probably cheaper. I don't know what's gonna happen with the the market, with the trade imbalance or whatever you want to call that. The tariffs and all that type of stuff. So I figure get this stuff now. Between this and the bore dial gauge, it was like 120 bucks total. So, and if you bought this about even 5 years ago, it would have been way more. 20 years ago, these things were astronomically priced, and I don't think these are the greatest quality in the world. I mean, you kind of get what you pay for, but it's good for like the average home user. So it's another tool I got. Mr. Onyx the cat is examining it. This is basically a gauge that you could check the bore for like taper out around this, see how wide it is, and you gotta set. It's real simple to use. You gotta screw this in the side, and you got different lengths, and you dial. There's some videos on how to do this, so I'm not gonna redo the video, but You set it to 0, and then you go up and down the bore, and you can see what out of the taper it is. If it's out of round, usually it'll be more worn on the top. And then you can take whatever measurement with this and see how wide it is. You know, see if it's got 10 over bore or whatever it is. The piston should be marked. So I got this. This is another Chinese gauge, but it's in half a thousandths. They got them where they even go like tenths of a thousand, but half a thousand should be pretty good, because actually when you're looking at this, you could see even finer than half a thousandths. So you can see like quarter thousandths. So if it's between those two lines, it's a quarter thousandths. That's pretty accurate, you know. And I don't think this is the best stuff in the world because it's made in China, but it's better than nothing. Right there, Mr. Onyx. So, and you know, if you're using this every day and you got a machine shop, this ain't the tool to use. But it's good for, but like I said, I'm buying this stuff because right now, I don't know where this stuff is going with the exchange rate with China. And, you know, maybe all these tools made in China are going to be big bucks later, you know, who knows? They're not going to do, and then you get USA stuff, I guess, right? But then it's going to be unaffordable, right? So this stuff I'm keeping inside in like a storeroom inside on a shelf. I'm not even going to leave it in the shed. So I got a lot of tools like this. I actually got a lot of tools. For somebody that's not a professional, I actually got a lot of tools. You know, I don't want to mention everything. I mean, I got engine pullers, engine stand, transmission jack, you know, for transmissions, a press, a mini mill. I got all these different things where you can, you know, I probably got enough tools to even work on other stuff with the Harley. It's got different things that, like it's a cup. So if you're pressing something out, the bearing will fall in there, and where you're supporting the case and stuff. I got all kinds of junk like that. So, but I just want to ride, man. I don't want to be working on this stupid thing all the time.